Good morning, Davinia and Cheryl. This week's subject is resume, LinkedIn, and job search. You'll find the requirements for this module or these modules on your Google Classroom. So, instructions for this week are review your RBT training guide. If new to Google Docs, we've added a workbook that introduces you to using Google Docs. Next, we're going to complete an RBT Transferable Skills Assessment Workbook. In this workbook, you're going to assess your current skill sets that apply to an RBT position. And we'll cover that in this video. Next, you'll review the resume template and use it to create your confidential resume. Be sure to make a copy of the template and name it your document. Otherwise, you'll be both accessing the same document and making changes. So be sure to make a copy. And I'll demonstrate that in this video as well. And the last part is to complete the RBT resume quiz. So let's go ahead and take a look at our training guide. How to write an RBT resume. So resumes are standard for every industry. In this 21st century workforce, you're looking to match your resume to the actual position that you're applying for, rather than having a generic resume that fits all industries. As an RBT, you're going to be entering an entry-level healthcare professional position where you'll work to improve the lives of individuals with developmental disorders such as autism, etc. So if you don't have that previous experience, you're going to want to apply the experience that you do have that is relative to an RBT position. We included in the training guide, what does an RBT do? We've actually gone over that in the first week, so you can review or revisit that information in the workbook. Next, we're going to move on to how to actually write it. So you're going to research the job duties, and this is important. Take a look at job descriptions under Indeed.com or ZipRecruiter and see what is exactly the employer is looking for. And then you will identify any of the areas that they have posted that you have knowledge or experience in. Now, that knowledge could mean what you've been learning through this RBT training program. The experience would be anything that's relative to your previous experience before taking this class and applying for that job. You're going to create a header, which is often referred to as your letterhead. That's going to have your name and a reliable phone number, so cell phone. Please make sure your cell phone has a good voicemail on it, not something that is for friends and family. Change it to a professional format if you need to. Include your professional email address. Your residential address is optional. Some people tend to leave that off, and I highly recommend not putting your actual address where you live on your resume. I would give that at the next level once you get the interview or you get hired, where you're required to provide your residential address. Next, you're going to write an RBT resume summary, and here are some tips on what should be in that summary. And it actually tells employers in 1 or 2 sentences what your professional qualifications are and why you're the right candidate for the job for them to hire. Typically, has been an objective, but the new trend is a overall summary. So depends on what you think is a good fit for you. But in that summary or objective, you're going to describe your work ethic, your credentials, experience, relative skills, and goals. Now, again, it's going to be 2 sentences. So you're just going to reference any or all of these. And in that reference, they're going to want to read more detail below the summary of your resume. So you're not going to put everything in the summary that should be in the body of the resume. We also have some samples here that you can click on the link to get some sample summaries for RBT specifically. You're going to detail your education and your training. Obviously, you're in the training program at the T-Birth Center, RBT, Registered Behavior Technician credentials you're going to be getting. So you're going to want to detail that as well. Summarize your skills in that education and training area so that they know what skills that you have learned. And we provide some of the skills that you may want to reference that you have in your resume according to these bullets here. Make sure you outline your work experience and put, if you don't have any experience as an RBT or in working with children or daycare centers or whatever, put the jobs that you've had, but only put in the relative experience that would apply to the RBT industry. Okay? And you only want to list about maybe 2 or 3 previous jobs. If it was a job as a waitress or a job where you worked at a retail store, kind of leave those off because they are not relevant to the job that you're applying for. Only put on your resume for RBT relevant positions that you may have had, as well as relative education. If you need to fill up your resume, you can actually add some activities and volunteerism that you've done to fill the resume. It should be at least 1 page. And lastly, you're going to want to proofread your resume. I highly suggest that you get a relative or a friend to take a look at it before you send it to me. Once you send it to me, I will critique it and edit it as well and make suggestions if need be. This is a copy of the Google Docs handout if you need to refer to how to create your resume in Google Docs. Your next assignment is the transferable skills. And this is a Google Forms workbook, so you're going to identify your transferable skills. And I want you to do this before you actually build the resume because then you've identified them. And we put some categories in here that are really important to an RBT position. So as you can see in the instructions, it says transferable skills are abilities that you have developed in one context, such as a previous job, education, or volunteer experience that can be applied effectively in another context, such as an RBT position. So let's take a look at some of your transferable skills. You're going to enter your name, and you're going to click on the address bar above and copy and paste this link for use in another assignment. So go up here and click on it, and it'll highlight and copy and paste that. Paste it into Word or somewhere because you're going to have to put this in your project workbook that shows that you submitted it. All right, so copy and paste that link and put it into Google Docs somewhere. Next is the areas that you're going to be looking at for your communication skills. Check off anything that you have. A personal summary of your communication skills, empathy and compassion, problem solving, etc. So fill this form out completely, which will give you the insight of things that you may not have ever thought about to apply to a resume, but it'll give you an in-depth look at what current skills that you have from the perspective of an RBT. So I don't have you trying to figure out what they are. We actually put them in this particular workbook so that you could identify them. And make sure when you hit submit, you take a picture of the submission so that you can upload that as well for your assignment. And the reason we have you take a snapshot of it is because there have been some students who say that they submitted it and that they can't find it, or, I didn't get it on my end, and this will be proof that you did submit it. So I like to have these posted up on Google Stream. So just take a screenshot and post it on Google Stream in classroom. Okay. Then we have the RBT template. Now, it is a template, so Cheryl and Davinia, please make sure it becomes your own. Okay, so don't just leave everything in there word for word. Obviously, the credentials you want to leave, the education for T-Bird Training Center, obviously, but underneath the education for T-Bird Training Center listed, put any other additional education you have inside this. So go in there and insert. I'm sorry, underneath the credentials that you got for the T-Bird Training Center. Here you would just hit enter and add additional education that you may have. Relevant OJT. This is in there simply because of the fact that if you don't have any previous experience working with children, this will replace that lack of experience. If you do have experience, you will leave this first, and then down here you'll put relevant work experience and list it, as well as any volunteer experience. And then your references will be available upon request, but we want you to identify those references on the following page. And you can actually use the T-Bird Center, Monica, whomever. But be sure to go in here and add your 3 references so that you have a complete document. And lastly is the RBT quiz, and that is strictly for your resume. So this is where you're going to be pasting those links in the quiz. Okay? And then you're going to answer the questions. So part of the assignment is to paste those links in there. A part of the quiz is to paste those links in there. So definitely make a note as you go through this lecture to make sure that you follow step-by-step instructions that I have given you. All right, that's our first module. Our second module is LinkedIn, and this module will focus on the importance of having a LinkedIn presence on RBT. As an RBT, we'll focus on how to set up a LinkedIn account. So what we've done here is provided you with the training guide of the RBT and LinkedIn. So what I wanted to do with this is make it important for you to see how many people are actually out on LinkedIn as RBTs. And these are just some captures that I took, screenshot of the people that are out there. And for those of you who don't know what LinkedIn is, it's a social networking platform for professionals and business connections. So you'll be putting in you'll be creating a professional network, a profile, and try to make connections with people in the industry that will be helpful to your career. So read over this material. And if you have any questions, you'll definitely be able to ask me. I also provided a step-by-step procedure on how to create the LinkedIn and some references for profiles that will help you make yours as professional as you possibly can. I also provided the LinkedIn beginner's guide that LinkedIn created for new users. And follow these step-by-step procedures to create your LinkedIn account. And pretty much once you're done that, you're going to actually go to the quiz, put in your name, answer some questions about the LinkedIn process, and then paste your LinkedIn profile that you created below, and then hit submit. Be sure to take a screenshot that you submitted it. So you're going to do this quiz after you've done everything under the LinkedIn module, because the quiz is the last item, and you will have had to have created your LinkedIn profile or updated your LinkedIn profile if you already have one. Everything else in here is just reference material, 20 steps to a better LinkedIn account, how to use the LinkedIn account, and signing in and out of your LinkedIn account. So those are all reference materials. The two key features here is to your training guide and then the quiz. The next module is your RBT professional development resume, LinkedIn, job search final project. And here you're going to list your name, your email address, a link for your resume, which was done in Google Docs, a link for your letter of references, done in Google Docs, and I believe I may have said to put the letter of references together with the resume, but make those two separate documents, the resume and the letter of references, as two separate documents in Google Docs. This is important because you're not going to send your references unless they're requested. So make it two separate documents. Add your link for your resume quiz, as well as your transferable skills, your LinkedIn profile, and the LinkedIn quiz job search workbook, which we need to go over. Okay, and then you're going to answer a few questions. So let's take a look at the job search. Now I added the link for the job search. You got this in orientation week. So you are familiar with this. So initially in the first week you did job research. This is your job search report. So you're going to go in here. Now that your resume is done, you can start sending out your resumes to agencies. So the first assignment that you're going to do for your job search in this week is to send it over to Continuum. They're the training agency for the RBT 40 hours, and obviously under the T-Bird Center. So therefore, they are interested in the possibility of hiring you. So you'll put their information in there, and then subsequently you'll use ZipRecruiter and Indeed.com to look for other jobs, and you'll list them all through on here. So you need to do at least 2 or 3. We would really like you to fill up this form for the 4 weeks of training, which means that you will be applying in several places that are hiring, and there are so many companies hiring. If we go to Indeed.com, just to name a few, you can use ZipRecruiter as well. So we'll put New Jersey. We'll just put New Jersey overall. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and put the zip code in there. 08401. To make sure our search is not all the way in North Jersey. Alright, so look at here. It says, and this is jobs in Atlantic City, 8,000 jobs. Wow. Now, they're all not RBTs. Oh, you know what? That's why. Make sure if you change the zip code, you're going to have to change what you're looking for. All right, there we go. That's more realistic. So 33 jobs. And they're all local. Absecon, Northfield. Look at the salaries. Look at the job description. In the previous assignment, I told you to look at the job description for the jobs to see what's common amongst all of them. And Indeed is great because they give you a lot of detail. So click on the job that you may be interested in, and just make sure that you fit the criteria in terms of your training as well as your previous experience. So any one of these you can just simply copy and paste over to your job search log here. And then the last tab is the job you actually take and get hired for. So you'll have to finish this document out after class. But you should have done a make a copy, just like you should do a make a copy for the template for your resume. I wanted to go over that briefly so that when you use the template, you actually are using the template to make a copy. So here is the resume. And you're going to do file, make a copy, and put your name in there. So it'll be your name. And you're going to get rid of this template. Hit delete and get rid of that. And you just simply make a copy. And then you'll notice that the document is saved and it has your name on it. And that way you'll be able to check right here to make sure you're working with your version of it. This will be saved on your drive, your Google Drive. And you've actually reached it from the T%'s drive. And now create one on your drive so no one can access it but you. Okay. So that's your job search and that's your RBT. And lastly, we just want you to make sure you complete your timesheets and your daily activity log. This should be done for every week. So last week should be completed. And you're just putting down the tasks that you completed and how many hours. And the same thing with week 3 and 4. Okay. And then there is a Google activity port and chime. So this is filled out as you go along. You won't submit this until the very end. But just be mindful that it is required. And I will remind you. And we already talked about the job search. There's also a quiz in here for job search. So be sure to complete that. And that is initiating your your current job search. How many jobs did you visit? So you're answering your job search quiz here as well. All right, so you've got quite a bit of work to do. One of our previous students referenced or told me personally that it is a lot of work, but it's all necessary. And I really love that. She got it. It is necessary. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of work with the RBT training portion of it as well. But you have to be prepared for what you're about to enter into as an RBT. And you have to be prepared on all levels, not just the RBT 40 hours of training and the practical and assessments and all that. You need to have the work readiness and professional development modules intact as well. Now, I'm going to send this out. Actually, I'll go ahead and send it out now. And this is pretty much you'll be getting this as we speak. And this is an evaluation. Be detailed in your responses. Constructive criticism. Keep your personal feelings on a professional level. We welcome your personal professional experience in doing these assignments on both ends. And we take your input very seriously. So please complete that as well. And that will definitely conclude your week 2 classwork. Any questions? Good idea to put them out on the Google Stream so everybody can see them. They may have the same question. It's only 2 of you, Cheryl and Davinia. So if you have any questions, put them out there. Or if you want to be private with it, you can just text me. But as you can see, you've got 2 modules that you have to complete for week 2. Several modules that you have to complete for week 2. And then, of course, your week 2 assessment evaluation. So there you have it. Thank you. Have a good rest of your week. And Be sure that your assignments have been turned in for last Thursday's assignments, and make sure that you're prepared to complete your assignments this Thursday for submission on next Thursday. And as you can see, there's a load of work to be done, so you don't want to get caught up. You have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to get them done. So please do your due diligence in getting them done and submit it on time. Thank you and have a great day.